I love tutorial areas in MMOs, and growing up, this love was created and then nurtured by one tutorial island specifically. When kids all around the world discovered RuneScape on Miniclip, kids in Poland never really heard of that game and instead explored the pixelated world of Tibia. In Tibia, when you first started the game, your character was created on the island of Rookgaard. There, you learned the basics of fighting with monsters and using the rope, and after reaching level 8, you talked with the Oracle and move on to the mainland as one of the 4 vocations. A knight, a paladin, which in this game is the archer class for some reason, a sorcerer, or a druid. But what if you never left the island? Then you became a Rookstayer. I have a level 80 Rookstayer, which I consider to be pretty high level. I loved playing on it, but something always felt off. When I first created the character, I picked the server that was on top of the list, Amera, which I learned much later is an American server, so I always played with high ping. In 2014, with Dawnport release, I smuggled the infamous Dawnport set and even a battle shield to Rookgaard. While back then these items felt unique, I never got the proper Rookgaard experience since I used better armor and a much stronger weapon. Lastly, I need to come clean. I used the bot, and while I never bought it on my main Rookstayer and every single experience point was fully legit, I did use a bunch of side characters that I bought it and used them to gather gold for me for the achievements. Honestly, it made all of the achievements feel pretty empty and meaningless. But I still love Rookgaard. I love the community, the island's mysteries, the slow-paced, grindy gameplay, and since I have this channel now, it's a perfect opportunity to try and show why I love this place so much. So I want to start again and do it right this time. New character, on an European world, using old school equipment and without any cheating. My server choice landed on Nevia. It's an European server, battle eye protected, so there won't be any cheaters, and it was created after smuggling items from Dawnport was already fixed, so I know everybody will be on the same playing field. Let's begin. Obligatory, the first thing to do is to set our outfit. This looks pretty good. And we begin our adventure in Dawnport and not Rookgaard. Since 2014, this is the new cool island for newcomers, but thankfully there is a way to get to Rookgaard from here. All you need is to have at least one character on mainland on your account, and thankfully I do. If you decide to go to Rookgaard, you cannot come back here, so take a real quick look, and we are leaving. To leave, we need to talk to this NPC Inigo here, and here's one of my favorite things about Tibia. To chat with NPCs, you actually have to talk with them. They say some stuff in darker blue to indicate what topics they can talk to you with, but to go to Rookgaard, all you need to do is to type hi to Inigo, then Rookgaard, yes, and yes. And we are home. Rookgaard, how I've missed you. Now the first order of business, since we're just level 2, is to start the Rookie Guard quest. You can only start it up to level 5, you can finish it anytime, but you can only start it up to level 5 and it would be pretty terrible to miss it, so I'm gonna get on it right away. To start the Rookie Guard quest, we need to come to Vaskalier in the Rookgaard Academy and greet him with a hi, then say mission, yes, and yes. So this is actually the second mission of the Rookie Guard quest. Historically, the first mission began when you finish the tutorial island, but since new characters now spawn on Dawnport, you actually cannot access tutorial island anymore, so we are now starting the Rookie Guard quest from mission 2. Since it's impossible to record the game window in a way that both includes the chat and looks good, I'll speedrun the lore of the early parts of the quest while we do the first 2 missions. Well, technically, missions 2 and 3. An evil orc shaman named Kraknaknork started terrorizing Rookgaard, and Vaskalier needs our help defending the island. The first mission that we can no longer do actually consisted of Kraknaknork and his demon killing us and then us being resurrected in Rookgaard, but as far as this character goes, we haven't met him yet. So the first thing we are tasked with is bolstering the town's defenses, and to do that we need to grab 2 heavy stones from a rubble in a basement of a barn, and then haul them to the rooftop to some catapults. The stones are very heavy, so we can only grab one at a time, and we need to do 2 trips. But for our troubles, we are rewarded with a studded shield. Shields are very powerful in Tibia, so this is a fantastic reward. They offer very high defensive bonuses, but they only protect from up to 2 monsters at the same time, so if we ever get attacked by 3 or more enemies, you should immediately feel the difference. The next quest is your typical boring generic MMORPG quest of kill 5 rats. This takes a very long time since we are using a club, which is a terrible weapon with just 7 attack, and our combat skills are very low. We slog through though, and once we're done, Vascalier grants us an additional 30 XP, which levels me up to level 3, and a saber, which is once again a great upgrade since it has an attack of 12, 5 higher than the club, and a special +1 defense bonus. Also, it's a sword, which is the weapon type I will be using long term, so we can start training sword fighting. Lastly, to complete our trio of introductory quests, we get told we should see if Lily, the potion salesman, needs any help, and would you look at that, she does. She asks us to deliver a bag of herbs to Hyacinth, who lives as a hermit outside the city walls. The walk there is pretty short, but the reward, once again, is amazing. We get given some potions, which from now on I'll always keep on me, as well as a star ring. The ring boosts our health regeneration, but it only works for 10 minutes, so it's better used as a decoration for some milestone screenshots. Lastly, we can open a chest for a one-time reward of 5 brown mushrooms. Now, after completing these 3 introductory tasks, our next assignments in the Rookgaard quest will work towards finally defeating Kraknaknork. For the purposes of the next mission, we are supposed to go into a Tarantula's cave and retrieve her web. It's one of the few locations in Rookgaard that you cannot visit anymore once you complete its portion of the Rookgaard quest. I have a video from 8 years ago where I thoroughly explore every single cave. If you want to watch it, I will link it in the description. Also, level 4. The cave only has a few regular spiders and they are pretty spread apart, so we are not missing out on much by not being able to come back here, but as a fun fact, the minimap is also shaped like a spider. We can see her a floor below the Spider Queen, the main reason we are coming here in the first place. Actually, the main reason is the web she guards, which is supposed to have paralytic properties, and we will be using it later down the line in the quest. Now, the Spider Queen is unkillable, but she is also blind, and we can use those blue greasy stones to cover ourselves in grease. And now we are invisible to her for 2 minutes, and we can go ahead and grab the web. There we go. Back to Vascalier. Level 5. And as a reward we will be getting a studded armor with 5 armor value, which is fantastic compared to my current coat with an armor value of 1. Our next mission is what I would consider a filler quest. Vascalier once again sends us a way to complete an errand for someone. It has nothing to do with the looming threat, but since we have to do it, I better get started. This time the local tanner Tom offers us to make some boots in return for some wolf leather, and he says he saw a poacher going towards the wolf den, and since poachers are stinky and bad, we are morally okay to steal some of his leather. And here is our poacher friend. This cave is once again one of those you can no longer visit after you complete this part of the quest, and once again there is nothing really interesting here that would incentivize us to come back, except this is the only place in the entire Rookgaard area, to my knowledge, that has spawns of white mushrooms and brown mushrooms, so I'll take that please. Also, we can open this chest for a one-time reward of a small health potion, and after I kill this wolf, we should hit level 6. There is our dead war wolf. Let's get some leather, and here we can trade our leather for some boots at Tom, and technically, since there are no better boots to be found on the island, we just got our first piece of the best in slot equipment. Woo! But our celebrations are short-lived, as Vascalier hurriedly tells us that some trolls created an underground tunnel to break into the library and lit everything on fire. This is very bad news, since to infiltrate the orc stronghold later on we will need a book of orc language, and the last remaining copy is of course in the underground library, so we have to go and save it. Once I enter the library, I will constantly be taking damage from the smoke and fire, but I just wanted to make sure to showcase two cool things in this location, since, as I'm sure you've guessed, we can't come back here anymore after this. So the first one is this rune over here, the Destroy Field rune, which after we use it, it will let me get rid of the fire over here guarding the chest. And it's cool since there is generally very little magic on Rookgaard. On Downport you can play as a sorcerer or a druid and every vocation has some spells they can try out, but on Rookgaard it's just melee or ranged and the enemies generally don't use any magic either, so every time we spot something magical I'll make sure to point it out. And secondly, let me just use this rune before we choke to death. Look at this reduced fire sprite. Before a general graphical update, this is how fire used to look like, and honestly, I really miss those sprites sometimes. I mean, I like the new ones too, but those old ones had some charm, and I just got teleported out because we stayed there too long, so let me do this again. Sadly, I cannot take this rune with me to use on other fields, so let's just get the book and get out of here. Turns out, the book is too badly burnt to read, so it won't be of any use, but for consolation I can tell you that the next mission takes like 30 seconds and it can barely be called a mission at all. We just have to go downstairs and talk to Pauli to learn how a bank works, and just for that he gives us 50 gold. I wish that's how banks worked IRL. We also got 100 gold from Vaskalir, so now I have 200 in the form of 2 platinum coins, so I'm just gonna quickly spend it all on potions. Now it's time for mission number 9, there's 12 in total, so we're getting close to being done. We have to go find the troll tunnel and damage the supports to make it collapse. Welcome to the troll tunnels. Once again, once we complete the task we cannot come back, although this time the developers are excused since we are literally collapsing the tunnel. Once I go down, we can get a pick and some legs from this chest over here. The pick will be useful for the task at hand, but the leather legs are the same as I have, so I'll just drop them here. And there is one cool thing about this location, and it's those troll guards. Now I will very briefly talk about the bestiary. It's one of the completion mechanics in Tibia. Let me open the window. You need to kill a certain number of a specific monster to unlock its entry in the bestiary. Then you learn its specific stats, its drops, etc. Completing the bestiary is a completionist thing. And the thing about troll guards is that they only occur in this one place on Rookgaard, nowhere else. So if I leave before completing the bestiary for them, then I'm out of luck. And that's how I was on my main Rookstair as well. I didn't complete it, I didn't know, I don't think bestiary even existed when I first started on that character. So I'm taking this character as a chance to redeem myself. Thankfully, since some monsters take like 500 or more kills to complete in the bestiary, troll guards only need 5 kills, so it won't take very long. Level 7. If you take a look at the bottom right corner, you can see we already have 4 kills for troll guards, so this will be the last one to complete the bestiary entry. And once I kill it, I should also get my very first achievement on this character, which will be Hunting Permit. It should pop up, but it doesn't. But we can see it in the chat box over here. Well, you can't, I will screenshot it. The Hunting Permit achievement is for fully completing one entry in the bestiary. So troll guards are very easy, but it's good to get it out of the way here, because otherwise we literally wouldn't be able to ever complete it. And just for the sake of, well, completion, this is what a completed bestiary entry looks like. We can see our total number of kills, the stats for the monster, the defensive resistances, and all of its loots. So let's weaken those beams and we can get out of here, haha. As a reward, we get a brass helmet with 3 armor and a garlic necklace, since our next task is to go to a crypt in the nearby cemetery and retrieve a meaty bone to use as a distraction later on. Anyways, garlic necklace protects from lifesteal attacks that skeletons do, but I would much rather just keep it fully charged as a keepsake. We are finally at the crypt, and the cool part about this place is it's actually the one location you can access after you complete the Rookgaard quest. How cool is that? I mean, it's not very populated, but the area it's in is also very scarce for monsters, and skeletons are one of my favorite monsters to hunt, so I always come down here if I'm in the vicinity. Here's your fleshy bone, mister. Don't ever make me do that again. But as a reward, we get 150 XP and a new sword with 2 more attack than my current saber. Second to last quest, and we are sent far west to gather some wasp poison. But before we go and do that, I was so close to level 8, I just decided to go ahead and get it. And now we could theoretically leave Rookgaard for mainland, but since I decided to continue our journey here, I'm now officially a Rookstayer. Wasp Tower, one of the most iconic locations in all of Rookgaard. Thankfully, it's not part of the scripted Rookgaard quest, it's just where wasps live here, so we will be able to come back here anytime we want. Here's the wasp poison we needed, nice, and I also forgot to mention we got a silver amulet to help us with the quest. Once again, just like with the star ring and with the garlic necklace, I don't want to use it. It protects against poison, but I would much rather just have the fully charged amulet for the looks. Let's turn in our poison, we get some experience in return, a shield upgrade, and it's time to start mission number 12. It's time to finally take down Kraknaknork, so let's take all of the required items from this chest. We get our wasp poison, our fleshy bone, our tarantula trap, and a rolling pin. And let's go to the Orc Fortress. And this is the mighty Orc Fortress. Sadly, I cannot enter because this Orc guard keeps kicking me out, but thankfully I've watched Spy Kids, so I know exactly what to do. If we go to the rear of the fortress, we can see a peeing orc, so obviously I can use my rolling pin on him to knock him unconscious, and now if we just take his clothes, we turn green and we can enter the Orc Fortress in disguise. And here in the Orc Fortress is where my adventure with this quest ends. I know it's very anticlimactic, but just like with almost every other location for this quest, once we complete it, we can no longer enter, and I would like to keep access so I can hunt these orcs whenever I'm nearby. So I guess we are out of luck, on this character at least, because I went ahead and prepared a separate character and completed the quest all the way up to this point, just so I can show you the rest of this and how it ends. So now let's continue the quest on this character then. The first guard was tricked by my disguise, but the second one is not so stupid, so for this one we have the meaty bone, and if we use it on him, then a pack of dogs will appear and he'll get spooked and run away, so we can go down. And down here is the kitchen where the orcs prepare food for Kraknaknork, so we will poison his soup in the cauldron soon, but first, actually the most important thing in this room is this little kitchen knife over here. It's actually required to complete one of the achievements, and prior to the addition of the Rookgaard quest we couldn't get it, and now I will pass it on to my main and we will be able to get that achievement someday. Let's poison the soup and proceed. Once I go down these stairs, there will be a portal to the north, but there will also be a furious orc berserker who will prevent me from entering the portal if he's near me. So the strategy is to lure him south, then use the tarantula trap on him to briefly paralyze him and then run to the teleport. So let's do that right away. Where's the guy? Oh, here you are. Let's go south. Now use this. He's slowed down. And we can enter the teleport. Now to be able to enter the fight with Kraknaknork, we have to complete a pretty simple lever puzzle. And now finally we can face off with the shaman that's terrorizing Rookgaard. Once we enter we only have 5 minutes, but we should manage in that time. And Kraknaknork is a pretty easy opponent. All you have to do is stand diagonally to him because he uses wave spells. And you should be able to avoid most of the damage. He also summons a demon, but it's not as strong as in the start, in the mission that you weren't able to see. And we have 15 health potions, so we should be good. And he is now dead. Rookgaard is saved. At least on this character. And before we get kicked out, there is one more cool thing we can get from here as a keepsake, this school candle. Absolutely best in slot light source item on Rookgaard. So with all done here, let's move on to the rewards room. There's 2 chests here and we can loot both of them. From the first one we get a small ruby, which you cannot get otherwise on Rookgaard, so those make a very cool collectible because they don't weigh much, they look pretty cool, and you have to put in some serious effort to complete this quest multiple times to get many of those. And from the second chest we get 200 gold in the form of 2 platinum coins. Once we go back to Vaskalir, there is no additional reward, but honestly the ruby, the skull candle, and most importantly the kitchen knife are all I could ever ask for. Now I can happily log back to my main knowing that I both saved Rookgaard and I kept my access to the Orc Fortress. And with that positive accent I think I'll be wrapping up the video. Of course we just scratched the surface of playing in Rookgaard, and honestly the adventure is just beginning, so thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, hope you'll have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye. Hey, psst. You're still here? Wanna see something cool? There's actually one more thing I did before I came to Rookgaard. Remember how I said that there is no magic on Rookgaard, but there is magic on Downport? Well, you can level up your magic level up to level 4 on Downport, and there are no ways to level up your magic level when you're on Rookgaard, so when I first created the character, just before we left, I spent 2 days just casting spells continuously and I got to magic level 4, which is just a pretty cool little thing to have, but also it makes me rank 1 on Rookgaard on my server, so we are already top 1 in something. Oh, okay, thank you, bye!